Welcome everybody to the Alpha X Contenders Cup. We're here for the finals between Swagar and Mandolino. I'm your caster Snoopy, and joined by my side is Salvanth.
How's everybody going? It's been a bit of a rocky road to get here, but we have a best of 7 for you here today.
And it looks like we're going straight into it. Both players are ready to go, and we're immediately going back into our first game, and it will be on King's Cove, courtesy of Swagar's map pick.
In the upper left, representing the pink, it will be Mandolino.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have the purple Protoss. It is Swagar.
So in this series, Mandolino should have the edge on paper. Mandolino is a bit higher MMR, or at least he was when the tournament began. Swagar's PvP is self-reportedly not the best. And most importantly, while Mandolino hasn't been preparing for Swagar, he has had the opportunity of preparing his PvP all week, if he has been so inclined to do so. Swagar, on the other hand, did not know he'd be playing this match, because he believed that the original player would be playing instead, Jeterix. But Jeterix was unable to make it, and so Swagar is a last-minute substitution. The other semi-finalist who is walked over in the semis.
Yep, we got a PvP here, and it looks like both players. Oh, actually, yeah, both players has not decided to go ahead and scout with their probe. Looks like actually, as I say, that Swagar just sending out his probe there. But Mandolino, he's decided not to go ahead and scout. He's just gonna play in the dark.
A course scout is pretty normal in PvP these days.
Okay, I see.
That's when Mandolino is sending his probe out. The thing is that you really can't see much until those first couple of units come out in PvP.
Yeah,
So there's really not much point in having a probe there earlier, because it's not going to actually be able to do or see anything that it won't see 30 seconds later.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the only thing you can see is whether they're gonna go for a cannon rush or some proxy.
Exactly, and those are pretty rare. In a cannon rush, you can see by just sending a probe down to the natural and scouting it manually. And any sort of non-cannon rush proxy off before 2 gates come up is quite rare in PvP, so people choose not to scout for it. Both sides going for Stalker Sentry, which is really one of the standard openings, and we will have to see what tech they want to go for next. They could go for fast expansions, which it looks like Mandolino wants to do, which it looks like they both are looking to go for some very fast expansions from what I can see, but oh no, Swagar decides to throw down a Stargate instead. I expect we will probably see a Robo off this from Mandolino. It is kind of the way that one goes after a fast expand most of the time, which would give Swagar a bit of an edge in game number 1.
Yeah, we do know that, I guess on paper, Stargate does do better generally against Robotech. And here we do have the hallucinated phoenixes from both players.
Yep, that is the reason one gets a fast sentry. It's so much faster than it used to be, and allows you to actually see your opponent's tech before you commit to it if you want to delay your tech a while, which is something that Mandolino looks like he's chosen to do. He's not getting a Robo. He may choose to go into Twilight when he sees this. And he sees the Stargate, and now he can commit to tech of his own. It will be later, but it'll be guaranteed to be the tech that he wants against the tech Swagar has, and he does throw down the Twilight Council. So that is a trade-off one has to make in PvP now. Very fast forge as well upon seeing that Swagar himself is expanding, but Mandolino is up 4 probes, being more diligent on producing those workers of a single base. Look at how much saturation he has. He's definitely preparing it for a longer game, but he does need to get those workers to the natural, and that's exactly what he's doing now. even sending off another hallucinated Phoenix, getting a lot of sentries out quite early. So I imagine we'll see Blink out of him, out of Mandolino.
Yeah. Now for the meantime, Blink is 100-100. Actually, let's go ahead and...
Here comes the first Oracle, but it doesn't get anything done. It gets 0 kills, and that Oracle dies so fast to Stalkers these days. It is now an armored unit, it takes a lot more damage from Stalkers. But we do have a second Oracle coming around, so 2 Oracles can do a lot of damage. But there are units in position for Mandolino. Mandolino playing very well so far. Both sides getting Robos themselves, and a Twilight for Swagger, so both sides basically going to all attack. But here come the Oracles. They will get 2 kills, but they will both survive. But still, this is not what you want to get out of 2 Oracles. 2 Oracles are expensive. You want to get a lot more damage done than this, if you can.
Yeah, I guess Mandolino, his defense is just too good. He did scout the target pretty early. But Swagger, he can still use the Oracle to do, stasis, ward traps out in the map during the engagement, or revelations to see where the army of Mandolino is positioned at, so you can take a better engagement.
Yeah, and perhaps most importantly, these Oracles pin Mandolino back at home. He won't be able to use his Blink offensively, because those 2 Oracles will swoop in and kill everything. So Swagger is free to essentially get his own tech up. He's getting charge, he's getting +1. He's chrono boosting that, trying to catch up, but he will have charge before his opponent does. He's now throwing down 4 more gates. 3 more gates, but I think we'll see the 4th one very shortly. And there it is. Oh, that is a Tempo Archives.
Looks like both players are going to go ahead and just transition into maybe a 3rd base here, although there's actually more additional gateways from Swagger still adding those gateways.
Swagger's going up to 6 gates, which is pretty standard, but Mandolino's actually going up to 7, it looks like. You might want to get an 8th gateway. 8 gateways tends to mean you want to get very aggressive off 2 bases. 6 gates before a 3rd can just mean you just want to be safe. But yeah, with 8 gates on 2 bases, I think Mandolino is planning some sort of push. Probably with +2, which will be done before the +1 of Swagger. But interestingly enough, charge is not yet started for Mandolino, which is usually a big part of these 2 base pushes.
Yeah.
Really interesting to see what Mandolino wants. I guess he's going to want to make like a Blink-based push.
I feel like he just forgot about it or something. Like,
no, he's not building Zealots either, so I don't know if he has. I think this might be a part of his plan. Stalkers, Immortals, and Archons as the tech of choice. Oh no, you're right, he is building Zealots. I think he has forgotten about the charge.
Oh no.
Maybe a bit nervous in this grand finals, and who wouldn't be? A lot of money on the line. $75 for first place, given these players and their MMRs is maybe the highest prize pool they've ever played for.
Yeah, first place winner does go home with a $75 prize pool, so both players definitely want to win this. And look at that revelation. I mean, Swagger just keeping up with those tags and allowing him to see where the army is, how big it is.
Yeah, with only 1 Oracle, Mandolino does feel safe to move out. We do have a shield battery for Swagger. I'd like to see a few more. He's getting more Archons, but with no charge, this is going to be really bad. Like, these Zealots are just not going to do the damage they need to do. Meanwhile, Swagger is spreading his army out. But will Mandolino be able to just come forward with sheer numbers? Remember, he does have +2, whereas his opponent does not. Will this make up for the lack of charge? We'll have to find out. I think Mandolino, if he didn't know he lacked charge before, he probably knows now. And he's probably kicking himself. He might actually just have to go back. But Swagger is up 10 workers. Mandolino has to do or die right here. The revelation lets Swagger know what's going on, but will he be fast enough as Mandolino begins moving up this map, up this ramp? Oh, I think actually Swagger's in a great position. Oh man, look at that! Half of the army is just trapped and unable to do anything as Swagger fights. He's forced to back away from the Zealots, and suddenly Mandolino is in a good position as well. The charge doesn't matter as much when you are on top of the opponent. More and more Charlottes warping in for Swagger, more and more Slow Zealots warping in for Mandolino. But I think Swagger, it's such a close fight. Both of the Archons beginning to go down, the Zealots fighting Zealots. And I don't know who's going to end up winning. I don't know who's going to come out on top. It's difficult to tell with these different colors. The Archons do go down, and a few more Zealots warping in for Swagger. I think that's enough. I think Swagger holds. Mandolino draws up the last two Immortals and goes home, taking +3 as he does. Swagger has held. He's in a great economic position, and Mandolino now has to begin saturating this third base that I think he only intended mostly as a fake.
Yeah, man, that was such a close one. For a second there, it looked like Mandolino was about to take over as he had a little bit of a better arc, in the mid fight, but then I think with the Swagger, with the Warpin, the last Warpin, he was able to finally defend it. And now the Oracle is looking to get some additional damage into the main base. And there we go, 2, 3, 4 probes going down.
Good trade, considering how much that Oracle has gotten done over the course of the game anyway. And just pushing Mandolino even further back economically. Swagger's in a great position, and both sides will have their +3 at about the same time. Fourth base begins for Swagger. Don't often see a game go this long in PvP.
Yeah. Oh,
now, it's
man.
worth noting that if Mandolino had charge, he would have absolutely crushed that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it was close even without it.
He still doesn't realize that, I don't think, because he has not upgraded it yet.
Oh my goodness. You're right. That is very unfortunate for Mandolino.
That might be his
Swagger
downfall.
creating a couple of Adepts to send into the third base. I like this move. Adepts are quite cheap. They do a lot of damage to probes very quickly. And they're going to be able to one-shot probes, even with +1, let alone the +2 that they currently have. They're going to take out 4 or 5 probes before the charge lot. They're not even charge lots, so this is going to do tremendous damage. Lack of charge hurts yet again. But Mandolino's going in for another attack, but this time the army supply is in favor of Swagger. And they're both going to have +3. Charge just now finishes from Mandolino as he realizes, wait a minute.
And now he just realized it.
Yeah, and I don't think that there's no way Mandolino can win this fight. Swagger's army is just straight up better. It will be in about 2 seconds when +2 finishes. And here we go, but a bad engagement from Swagger actually. Will this actually be enough? Could Mandolino actually push through? Swagger has made a couple of mistakes in this fight. The charged lots do come in to help defend and help buffer, but I think there might be just enough.
Oh, it's going to be another one, close one.
The shield battery pumps the last of its energy out. Oh, this warp prism gets pretty low. But again, we are dealing with slow zealots. He's going to make it more and more Archons as Swagger tries to defend. He's getting +1 shields, preparing for a potential carrier transition later on. It is 3 bases to 4, 50 works to 67. Mandolino needs to get something done right now.
Alright, here he goes. Oh, he actually going to go for the 4th base, maybe? Oh.
I think he's waiting for charge.
Oh, he
As
just...
charge finishes. Oh, actually, no, not quite. Charge will finish in a few seconds, but I think Mandolino might have enough anyway. He's pushing through.
Oh, wow.
Swagger just not taking good engagements when he really needed to. And Mandolino suddenly with a huge... army compared to his opponent.
Yeah, the
There's
army
nothing
supply.
that Swagger can do.
Yeah, the army supply is 79 to 39. That's a huge deficit there.
He's got a lot of adepts on the other side of the map, but even if they kill all of his probes, there's no way that Mandolino will ever be able to take on this army of Swagger will ever be able to take on this army of Mandolino. And he's warping home a couple of Archons and a Stalker, but they actually won't be able to get into the main, those Archons. So Mandolino will lose more and more units, but it just doesn't matter. So I don't see how Swagger holds this fight.
Oh, half his army even being split there.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Swagger was doing quite well, but in the end, Mandolino overcomes him despite the lack of charge. And GG comes out. I'm very worried for Swagger now.
Yeah, I mean, Mandolino for
It,
getting charged that game and still being able to win.
yeah, if Swagger couldn't win that game, what's he gonna do?
Although I think Swaghart, I think mainly it was just the army, the battle engagement right there in the last fight, the last big fight. He did have the concave set up, but then for some reason he kind of clumped it up together, and then that's when Mandolino went in there. I think he wasn't paying attention, and his whole army got decimated at the third base. So now Mandolino is up 1-0, and the next map will be Cyber Forest.
Indeed, it will.
All right, let me go ahead and in the meantime give a shout out to Sniper SC for the host, as well as gifting some subs earlier to Kuna Matata and H Kim.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate all the support, and it does go towards producing events like this one.
Let me go ahead and invite Mandolino as well. Also, guys, there is a Matcherino for this tournament. If you type in into the Twitch chat exclamation Matcherino, it comes up with the Matcherino link as well as the coupon code where you can donate 50 cents for free. We're a little bit, I think we have a few coupon codes left. So would appreciate if you guys haven't done so yet, just go ahead and enter the code there. And looks like we're ready.
We'll be going into game number 2 with properly contrasting colors this time, to make it a little easier to see what's going on in those big fights. We'll be playing Cyber Forest, which is Swaghar's pick. I believe he did pick the first map as well, on account of being the lowest seed in this tournament.
Yep.
So we'll have to see if he's got something planned for this map. In the top left, losing game number 1 to some unfortunate engagements. Can he bring it back? It is Swaghar.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have our orange Protoss. He's up 1-0. Looking to extend his lead, it is Mandolino. Alrighty.
So what does Swaghar do now, you think?
You know, I'm not sure if he needs to do anything drastically different, because he did set up himself to be in a pretty good position to win the game. I mean, he was ahead in workers, he was ahead in the base. The upgrades were pretty much even. I guess the army composition was pretty much the same, except the only thing that was different was the army engagement. I think that was the main difference, I feel.
Yeah, he was also in serious trouble with that first push of Mandolino, though, remember. If Mandolino had charge then, I'd say that Swaghar probably would have just gotten rolled over with that fight.
Yeah.
So overall, Mandolino had a few opportunities to win that game if he hadn't made that error early on. So it looks like Swaghar might just be a little bit outclassed. But it is only one game. It is difficult to tell. Sometimes players take some time to groove into a series. I imagine maybe that's the case for both sides, and Swaghar is getting a lot of gas very fast, so I think he's going to go for a Stargate once again.
Yeah, this time around I feel like maybe it will be a good idea to go for some Phoenixes, because last game Mandolino did scout the Stargate tech really quickly, was able to prepare against the Oracles in both bases. So I think if Swaghar can go for some Phoenixes, and then later in the game he can lift those Immortals with those Phoenixes, that would be pretty nice, I think.
Could be useful, yeah. Oracles used to be sort of the standard thing you did against anything other than a Stargate, but these days Oracles are a lot weaker against Stalkers than they used to be. So I think Phoenixes may very well be better. And trying very hard to deny scouting is Swaghar. Successful. Swaghar's got no idea. Mandolino has no idea and won't be able to make his tech until he scouts it. But in this case, Swaghar's Stargate is probably about 30 seconds faster than it was in game number 1.
Wow, that's actually a huge difference.
Yeah, he's committed extremely heavily to this Stargate. He didn't remember he made Stalker Sentry first in game number 1.
Ah,
That's a
that's
lot of
right.
gas that he didn't spend. That's 100 extra gas, and Swaghar took gases faster. I quite like how fast he's taken his expansion too. I may need to copy this build for myself. My Stargates tend to have a lot slower of an expansion. But Mandolino will be prepared, and he is going to block himself off. Will that finish? Yes, it's going after the Sentry, and will snipe it out. Still, he's likely to lose one of his Adepts, which removes a great deal of his harassment power. An Adept for a Sentry is pretty good.
Oh, that hallucinated thing is actually did not scout that Stargate there. I mean, it did scout
Oh,
the Oracle,
wow.
but oh
Maybe he
no,
thinks it's a hallucination.
Mandolino has locked himself out. You've got to cancel the pylon.
Yes, he has, and here comes the Oracle! Getting some serious damage done. 5 kills so far. Can we... Oh, I think that was a bit aggressive going for 6, but I think it's going to get out too. And then it even gets a 7th one. Beautiful moves by Swaghar.
Oh man, I know we all been there as Protosses where we forgot to cancel our pylon and we lock ourselves out. That is unfortunate for Mandolino there.
So yes, Swaghar's in a much better position now already than he was in game number 1. Mandolino seems to be having a bit of trouble in this series, but it hasn't stopped him so far. What about this time? And we do see charge out of Swaghar very quickly. He's making a forge, but Mandolino's forge is once again faster. This very fast forge is a pretty recent metagame decision. Maybe I think Swaghar either has chosen not to do it or might just not quite understand it yet. Will that... Oh, Sentry just survives that Adept shot. And here come the Oracles. 2 Oracles getting 6 more kills. Swaghar is up 10 workers already.
Yeah. Oh. Might even
He's
see.
going to recall them. I think he's going to try and recall them, but he doesn't have the energy. He's waiting for it. He needs 2 more energy.
Oh.
Where's that recall?
Oh shoot. Oh my god.
He's not recalling. Oh, there it is. But he's a bit too late to save one of those Oracles. But even so, look at the worker count for Swaghar. That is incredible.
Here we see the income
He's canceling
graph.
his other 2 gases. I think he's going to go for some sort of all-in push, where he just realizes I don't have enough probes to actually support this anyway. And Swaghar making 4 more gateways and a Templar Archive to protect it against anything that his opponent might do.
Oh,
I think he's just going to use this Oracle to pin back the Mandolino. What was that?
I think Mandolino's actually not going for charge himself. He's actually going for Adept Glaives.
He's going for a Glaives all-in.
I mean, who can blame him? I mean, he suffered a lot of Harvester damage there, so might as well go all in here.
I think it's a smart move, and at the very least, the least bad move. And wow, that Oracle barely survives. Does get an all-important revelation up to see what the opponent is doing. So Swaghar will have 6 gates. He will have the ability to produce a lot of units, including Archons, and Archons are very good against these clumped up Adepts. Archons and Immortals. Have you ever seen Adepts try and kill an Immortal? It's hilarious. It takes so long to die.
It's probably like a Marine trying to kill an Ultralist.
It is a lot like that, yes. And here comes the Oracle once again. We'll snipe a probe and then just get on out, being annoying, making sure that Mandolino is still at home. But I don't think he's he hasn't scouted the Glaives because there's no way to actually scout that. He will have to see the Adept count rising, but the Adept count kind of isn't rising yet. He's going to be building them all at the last moment, is Mandolino. Swaghar's army is just so much bigger and stronger. He has charge, he's got Archons, he's got Immortals. Mandolino's going to have serious trouble breaking through this game. And after we were so concerned about Swaghar in game number 1, he seems to be outplaying Mandolino very handily in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't play. I don't think he played too badly. I mean, again, he was set up to be in a pretty good position to win the game.
But
just a few little tweaks here and there, and also a lucky break with the pylon walling off Mandalina's army to open the probe line for the Orcos.
Indeed. So we do see a bunch of adepts coming up from Mandalina, but will that be enough to tip Swaggar off? I think he's scouting around. He'd know there's no third base, so he'll be ready for this. He'll have +2. Only a little bit after Mandalino has. I don't know if he'll have it in time for the fight. It'll be close, but he definitely sees the Revelated army moving now, and there's 4 Archons for Swaggar. I think Mandalino's best. I think Swaggar should just block off his main. Just wall it off completely. Because this mass adept style could try and pull Swaggar apart, because I don't see it winning in a straight up fight. Swaggar holding the bottom of this ramp. But he needs to be careful with his engages. Those are what lost him the game the last time. Mandalino wants Swaggar to engage into him. But it looks like the fight is now going to happen. The Charge-Lots moving forward. Adepts are quite good against Charge-Lots, but there's so many Archons. A wall of blue coming on forward. Swaggar, Mandalino is down 40 supply. Well, now 30 supply, but he just keeps on pushing forward anyway. GG for Mandalino. Swaggar dominates game number 2.
And the series is now tied to 1-1. We have a series, boys. It is now time for Mandalino to choose his map of choice. See how he comes back against that game.
And it will be Mandalino's pick, and he chooses Port Alexander, a rather standard old map, as the tech of choice, as the map of choice.
Thank you, Sniper SC. Again, another gift to Sunny for 1 month. I appreciate the support. I think Sniper SC and I think Jay Skippy has been gifting so many subs to our members and viewers. Just amazing.
We really appreciate it, and as I said, we will be bringing more events like this to you because of this sub income. None of the subs go to any of us. We use it to pay out our players.
All right, let's get Swaggar in here.
We've got our prize pools for events have advanced a great deal in the last year or so, going from like $10 MVP cups to 100 plus MVP cups every month, and matches like series like this. I originally asked for I think about $20. I was given 50, and then our donations have brought it up to 150 in total. Very generous.
Yeah,
we have people in Alpha X.
So awesome. A lot of credit goes to Sushi, who has been able to rack up those I guess sponsors and endorsements.
Definitely. Sushi truly is the heart and soul of our team.
Alright guys, we are heading into game 3. It will be on Port Alexander. Again, these guys want to win that first place prize, go home with $75, as well as the title of Alpha X Contenders Cup champion. And here we go.
Definitely so. In the upper left, taking game number 2, looking to come back with a vengeance, it is Swaggar.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have the orange Protoss. It is Mandalino.
Alright, this series is really heating up now. You think Swaggar will do the same build 3 games in a row?
Well, he did do the double robo earlier, 3 games or 4 games in a row in the group stages, so I wouldn't put it past him to do it again.
He did not, and I am tired of you besmirching Swaggar's name that way. I believe it was 5 times in a row.
Ah, right.
Oh, wait. Or was it a different cheese that did game number 5?
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like a million times in a row. For he just, yeah, he pulled some crazy strategies in series, so.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting road for both of these players to get here. Neither really expected it to be the finalists, but here we are. We have a great series on our hands, and that is the whole point of the Alpha X Contenders. These are players who normally don't get a big audience, normally get knocked out very early on in the MVP Cups, if they even bother to show up, because of the just inability to beat the Dragons of Alpha X, our professional team. But by producing a cup like this, which is limited to 5600 MMR or below, we're able to showcase some players that normally do not get time in the spotlight. And that's the beauty of StarCraft. Once you get past a certain low level of play, like silver or something, evenly matched games are always exciting, even if the players aren't as good as the pros.
Yeah, for sure. I can't believe how we started this tournament in the early, I guess, the beginning of December, and now we're arriving at the ending of February. It's been a long
Yeah,
journey.
it's been about 3 months to get here. It was originally meant to be a 2-month tournament, but because of the MVP Cup, we weren't able to run we were only able to run 3 weeks in 4. Mandolino will block off Swagger from taking a fast expansion. And we'll have to see what Swagger wants to do. With he's getting a double Stalker, which is very interesting. So he's going for a 4 Stalker opening this time around, which is definitely different to normal. Mandolino is blindly going for a Twilight Council now. He expects the same build 3 games in a row, but I don't think it is the same build.
Yeah, it doesn't
I would be
look like
surprised if you went for a Stargate off 4 Stalker. But I don't know what he might. I think a Robo might be likely. He might even go for a Oh, look at that. That's a proxy pylon. I think he's going to go for the 3-gate Robo build. Or even 4-gate. We'll have to wait and see. We do have 4 Stalkers from Mandolino as well, though, which is pretty much the best opening you can get against this. Mandolino not yet expanding. And he's getting Blink, so time is definitely not on Swaghar's side here. Mandolino is definitely won the build order war this time around. And it is just 3 gates for Swaggar. No, tech or anything. And meanwhile, Mandolino's making 2 gates. He's going for a 4-gate Blink style. And he wins the... oh man, he's gonna kill 1... he's gonna kill 2 Stalkers! Or almost. Will he get that Stalker? Yes, he does. Oh man, Mandolino is in a hugely dominating position now. He's taken out 2 Stalkers. He's completely dominated the early game, and Swaghar's expansion is so late that it won't be any help whatsoever. But Swaggar does spot this coming, and he will be able to take out a couple of these Stalkers for free, which is nice for him. He evens up that Stalker count, takes out that probe. Oh, he's going after the pylon. That could be huge. And he will get it.
Oh!
If he wants. He needs to target that down. He's choosing to target down the Stalkers instead while he has the advantage. He needs to get that pylon.
Oh,
what is Swaggar doing? Swaggar may have just cost himself this game.
Yeah, and Blink is almost done, so Swaggar needs to retreat with these Stalkers as soon as possible.
Bit of a mistake on the micro there, and Swaggar is no longer going to be able to have the Stalker advantage. He's making Immortals. Could you imagine how much better this would be if there was another 30-40 seconds on Mandolino's ability, perhaps even a full minute on Mandolino's ability to produce out of those 2 gateways? That pylon was 2 shots away from being killed. The shield battery is just going up. The Immortal not yet done. The force field's not doing what they need to do. Probes being pulled off the line, but by the time this Immortal is out, it's just going to be too late. Oh, Swaggar must be kicking himself for that one. As the Immortal is good, but there's just too many Stalkers left. StarCraft really is a game of inches.
Oh yeah. For sure, and especially when these 2 players as evenly matched as they are, those little bit of details matters.
And that is going to be it, as Mandolino is going to take this game 2-1. Another game that definitely could have very much gone either way. Swagger immediately picks the next map, Kairos. I hope it doesn't affect him in the next game, because I would be kicking myself after a mistake like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Access, for subscribing to the Twitch. Hope you enjoy your Australia emote. We're doing the Australia emote, I think, for this weekend, so we can help support him in WCS.
Yeah, he's in the round of 16, I believe. Very impressive. Unfortunately, I haven't really been keeping up with WCS Winter. There was just so much StarCraft to be watched. We were in the early rounds of GSL and WCS Winter. So we were trying to keep up with them more, at least from the round of 16 onwards. Because there will be half as much StarCraft to be actually played.
WCS has been really good this season, this group stages at least. Love seeing old timers like MC and Fantasy.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen Groups F or onwards yet. So please don't spoil me on that one.
I won't, don't worry.
Mandolino is ready. We shall see if Swagger is ready. He may have taken a moment to clear his head. Oh no, he said go before you asked if he was ready.
Alrighty, guys. Game 4. Swagger
on Kairos Junction.
Yep.
We've had some pretty interesting games so far. Game 1, Mandolino looked like nothing he could do in any future games would make him lose. Game 2, Swagger just dominated him. In Game 3, Swagger made a bit of a mistake. Both sides definitely nervous in this series, making some pretty uncharacteristic errors, but we'll have to see which side can master their nervousness more as we enter this game. In the upper left, losing game number 3 by 2 Stalker shots, it is Swagger.
And spawning at the bottom right, we have the orange Protoss. He's ahead 2-1, looking to go even further ahead and make it a 3-1 series. It is Mandolino.
It's worth noting that Swagger actually very nearly seized victory from the jaws of defeat there, because he was definitely behind in that early game in the build order. He was very fortunate to find that proxy, just unfortunate that he could not capitalize on that.
Yeah, well, Mandolino had a scouting probe. I think he saw Swagger's proxy. I think that tipped him off.
Yeah, they both saw each other's proxy.
Yeah, so Mandolino got the better end of that trade. I think with a bit of better micro as well. Losing 2 Stalkers just in the early game like that. I think it's kind of like TBT, where in the early game, if both players are going for a 1 base attack, every unit counts, every little pickoff.
That's true, but they both lost 2 Stalkers.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I think the main thing was Mandolino had that faster blink, and he was able to save his double gateway, in which Swagger unfortunately did not snipe down the pylon.
Yeah, I think if Swagger had taken that down, I think he would have won that game, because he would have had 1 or 2 Immortals by the time those Stalkers hit, and those shield batteries would have been done. And I think there would have been very little that Mandolino could have done. That is the way of StarCraft sometimes. Both sides walling off, playing pretty standard so far. We'll have to again see what tech they both decide to go for, whether they decide for those fast expansions. 2 Stalkers again from Swagger, Stalker Sentry from Mandolino, both sides mixing up their opening unit sets pretty consistently, as Mandolino once again walls off Swagger from taking a fast expansion. I think Mandolino is probably going to go back to that build that he did before, where he wants to scout what his opponent is actually up to before he commits to anything.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good decision to go for. I think because you want to go to through the tech path that best suits you in terms on paper, and it looks like Mandolino actually decided to go for Stargate off the bat instead.
Oh yeah, there you go. He's not going to wait, and Swagger's going to go for the same build again. He thinks, all right, I should have won that game. Stargate and Robo coming up from Mandolino actually at the same time. He's going for a lot of tech. Yeah. Meanwhile, this shield battery will get sniped down. Pulling a few probes to try and deal with these initial 2 Stalkers is never a good sign, as 1 probe will get sniped down.
Yeah, that's the vulnerability.
Mandolino is...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that is a vulnerability of the Fast Nexus. You said I was just going to say Mandalino could have boosting out more. Stall it. Takes out that pylon. What was it you were going to say? Stu?
I think the vulnerability of going for Stargate and Robo is you're not going to have a lot of army in the beginning, and Swagger going for an aggressive build here. And oh my god, so many probes being pulled.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of mining time and losing quite a few probes as well. Swagger's taking an expansion. He's not even all in off this. He's just doing some heavy pressure with 3 gates. And this could do some, serious damage. Good pullbacks from Swagger as Mandalino going to lose one, maybe even 2 stalkers for free. He's moving up though, and the force field's not there. They're GG already. Wow, Swagger's like, all right, that's how it's supposed to be, and the series is now 2-2.
Some good old-fashioned Michael there, saving some
Series is
swag.
fast and furious. We are 45 minutes in and already into the business end of the series.
No, right? So we got a close one. We got a good one. 2-2. We might actually go into the 7th game here.
We very well might. What a way to end Contenders that would be. So we still have Auto, Zero, and Repug. Mandalino's pick for game number 5.
All right. Let's see what map he chooses.
It looks like one or both of the players may have stepped away for a second. So I will take the opportunity to step away for a minute as well.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Alrighty, guys. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Snap XD saying sub hype, giving the Australia thumbs up. And as we wait for Mandalino's map of choice, just want to go ahead and thank everyone for tuning in so far. We have a Matcherino once again. If you type into the Twitch chat exclamation Matcherino, it should bring up the Matcherino link as well as the coupon code. I think we have a few more left, so if you haven't done so yet, feel free to do so and help support the players. Currently the prize pool is at 144. Salavanth will, in the end of the day, match it and go to 150, and if it doesn't reach to the $150 mark by the end of the tournament. And also, if you want to look at the bracket, see how these players came to the finals, how they did throughout the group stages, you can type in exclamation bracket, which looks like SnapXD did do earlier on, and that should bring up the bracket link to the Liquipedia page. Alright, looks like Mandalino maybe looking at the replay or something. Oh, actually, he's choosing automation. Or automaton. Automaton.
Indeed he is. Alright, and here we go. Game number 5 on Automaton.
Whoever takes this game will take the series lead, as it is tied 2-2.
Yep, they will be on match point, which is always a very important thing momentum-wise. Knowing you're only one slip-up away from elimination is never what you want. In the bottom left, losing a decisive game number 3, but winning an even more decisive game number 4. Pulling out all the stops, it is Swagger!
And spawning at the top right, we have the green Protoss. Looking to take the lead, it is Mandolino.
So this map was Mandolino's pick. It is a fantastic map for Stargate. I wonder if we might see a Phoenix War for the first time in this series.
You definitely can see that. It looks like whoever, I mean, if you could see which player goes for the, I guess, more faster gas, I think that might be a good indication.
Both sides will go for gas at the same time. What will be the true indicator is how many probes they put on that gas.
Yeah.
In general, if you want to go for most builds tend to keep 16 probes on minerals at all times, maybe 15. But if you go to like 13 or 14 in order to get more probes on gas, that's an indicator. So we shall find out. And it looks like both sides not going for their gases straight away. I mean, not going for full gas straight away. But I think Mandolino taking a bit more gas, a little bit faster than Swagger is. But not a huge indicator. These are very small lead hails we're looking at because we don't have anything else until this actually happens. Both probes passing through each other like ghosts.
And they will go ahead and scout into each other's base and see pretty much a standard opening here.
Yeah, they're both going to see pretty much the same thing. Interestingly, we do have a probe patrolling down here for Swagger. I'm not sure what exactly that's for. Maybe it's to ensure that Mandolino doesn't block him off again. But no, he's just throwing a pylon down there. Both sides are very identical openings for both sides so far. Stalker Sentry from both players. I wonder if we're going to see some tech out of one of them, or if they both want to wait to see what their opponent is doing, which could lead to a very interesting point where both sides basically have to commit to their tech blindly just like a minute or so later than they otherwise normally would. Ooh, recall goes down to try and save that probe, but does not work. Do you think a recall for a probe is worth it?
It's hard to say. I mean, I know sometimes if you're stuck in the Terran's base where they wall your probe off with the second depot, I think I've seen, Protosses save that with a recall.
I mean, let's say you're guaranteed to lose the probe if you don't recall it. Is it worth it?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I mean, one probe, maybe. I'm not sure.
Chrono Boost is worth, I guess, about 5/6 of a probe. So, I guess maybe it is worth it if you're not planning on doing any sort of other attack that might require the recall.
Yeah, I guess if you're not
I guess it's barely worth it.
Yeah, I don't know the math of it. I think someone maybe could test it out, see if it's worth it or not.
Yeah, well, the Chrono Boost is 10 seconds, and a probe takes 12 seconds to build. So the Chrono Boost does save a couple of seconds on that Nexus, as well as 50 minerals, which you don't have to remake. So it's worth it, but only if you have absolutely 0% chance of using the recall on anything else in the next couple of minutes. Which in this case appears to be the case. Now, back onto this game. Both sides do appear to be throwing down. A robo is being thrown over Swagger. It's already been thrown down for Mandolino. Both sides making forges. A Twilight Council for Swagger. I think that both sides are definitely looking for a more macro-intensive game this time around. They're both going to be playing it out for the long haul, getting those upgrades. Mandolino making a couple of adepts to try and get in, do some scouting, see what's going on. Swagger still has a probe patrolling there, but I don't think it's very likely to see two adepts at this stage, so I wouldn't expect Swagger to be ready for it.
Oh, the
We'll have
moment
to
of
see if
truth.
he is. He will not be.
Oh.
And these adepts will get some serious damage done. It's very, very cool because Mandolino knew Swaggar scouted the Robo, which means he wouldn't have units in the main to protect against the Stargate. So he took advantage of the lack of stuff in the main and the very rare nature of this move to go and get 5 probes for 2 adepts, which is extremely useful, extremely good trade.
Yeah, I mean, in the early game, Protoss usually patrol their probe there and they're like babysitting it to make sure that adepts don't go in. But then once the game goes on, the player usually doesn't really pay attention to it as much, and so you can take advantage of that.
Because people stop doing it. And we do have a Warp Prism with another couple of adepts for Mandolino. We did see this in PvZ in one of the earlier GSL groups. Has done a pretty good effect, but I think it's going to be even more effective in PvP. When both sides are going Robo, Warp Prisms are extremely, extremely effective. Because there's really no real way to deal with it very well. You've only got Stalkers, and especially if you have an Immortal drop, Stalkers just don't do anything. But now, it is going to be very easy for Mandolino to get a few probes and then back on out, although it does extend a bit too far with that Prism, actually. Oh my goodness! That's so close! It might go down! No! Ooh, wow. That was very aggressive from Mandolino indeed, but now he's taken out a total of 9 probes with these Adepts, and only lost 2 Adepts. So now he's in a very good position economically. Definitely in the position to take control of this game.
Looks like
Templar Archives coming up from Swaggar.
Oh, yep. As I was just about to say. Oh, actually,
he's going to use this extra gas of his.
Yeah, actually, there's a few probes of Swaggar in the mains. Not mining. It's kind of... Oh, there we go. He fixes it finally.
Ah, yeah, that is very good. I did think the math was a bit off on those probes. Okay, so +2 and charge on the way for Mandolino. I believe that Swaggar already has charge, but won't really have the opportunity to make use of it right away. He's moving out to take a rather forward third, actually. But I suppose it is harder to attack into it. It's very... it's a ramp that goes up to it. There's a very open area you can defend. As long as he defends against everything that could harass him, it's not a bad place to put it. While Mandolino going for a more standard third base.
Yeah, at the, I guess, the 12 o'clock position there instead of the one near the main base.
So +2 will be done a bit faster for Mandolino, and I assume he'll carry that along to +3. Meanwhile, Cannon going down in the main for Swaggar. I think that's a good move considering the Warp Prism play that Mandolino has already been known for in this game. And both sides are just going to continue to macro up, produce that Immortal Archon army, and raise the counts of those very important tech units. I don't know, Mandolino looks to be moving out. I'm not sure if he's going for an attack or just a poke and prod. He is making a few more Archons, so it looks like he might want to go for some sort of attack or heavy pressure. Oh, and Swaggar is actually ripping down these rocks to the gold. I think he wants to take a second Nexus when he can, and start mining those gold minerals.
Yeah, but he's gotta be careful. His army looks pretty slim compared to Mandolino. Oh, a nice.
Yeah, but he's got that ramp. Remember, that's why it took this third in the first place. That ramp is very difficult to break, but it is 63 army supply. It is Mandolino is up 10 army supply or 20 army supply and an upgrade. So you're very right about as you said, the slimness of the armies in comparison. But this is such a good position for Swaggar. Can he hold it? Mandolino's charging on forward. There is a single shield battery. The last of the charge lots about to go down for Mandolino. Looks like, but more charge lots just sneaking in one by one. And Mandolino is warping in more and more and more. I think he's just going to use this economic advantage to take this game. Just snowballing that early lead that he had to charge through. When you got this many units, it doesn't matter what the terrain looks like. And I think Mandolino's just going to move forward and take this game. Swaggar making a Dark Shrine, but it's not going to be done anywhere near in time. And there's just so much here for Mandolino as he warps in more and more charge lots in the face of Swaggar. 20 supply lead. All of the Archons are so low. The last of the Archons are about to fall. And that is it. We will be going to game number 6 with Mandolino on match point.
Alrighty.
Good moves by Mandolino. Similar to game 2 of Swaggar beating Mandolino, but with Adepts instead of Oracles.
It was a pretty textbook, I guess, textbook game there by both players. But Mandolino, I think the main damage with those Adepts kind of edged him the win there.
Year 0 for Game 6, and that leaves New Repugnancy for Game number 7. If we get there.
You know, it would be so funny if one of them decides to cannon rush in that last map.
It is definitely a very cannon rushable map.
It's like both players have been playing pretty standard openings throughout the whole series, but if they kind of pull a rabbit out of the hat and go for a cannon rush and win the tournament, that would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, both sides have chosen to leave New Repugnancy for last, so I think they are reluctant to do a cannon rush. Probably do find it quite a repugnant build. Right, Mandolino has joined the lobby. Let's see if he's ready. Despite the series' length so far, it has been a pretty amazing series so far. Lots of back and forth action. In fact, I believe so far both sides have been exchanging game for game.
Yeah, we definitely had a few games where it could have gone either way. So, and those
It's
are
been Mandolino, Swagheart, Mandolino, Swagheart, Mandolino.
Yep. And now it's match point for Mandolino, so Swagheart needs to win this game in order to keep his hope alive.
He certainly does.
You think?
Now we're back in
Oh,
15 seconds.
Okay, all right. So Mandolino just requesting a 1-minute break here, so he can maybe gather himself, get some water, maybe.
And I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into game number 6 on year 0.
And both players are ready. Countdown has begun, and we are heading into game number 6.
Mandolino leads 3-2. He's looking to close it out here, but Swagger stands in his way. Who will be triumphant? Year 0, a very big map, a very splittable map. We could see a longer game on this one, but we also could see some very decisive builds. Let us find out. In the upper left, on match point, looking to take the series right here, in the void, it is Mandolino.
And spawning at the top right, we have our purple Protoss. He is on his last life, looking to push into the ace match. It is Swagheart.
We'll have to see Swagger's best right here.
Do you think Swagheart will maybe revert back to his Stargate build, which he had more success with earlier in the season, in the series?
It's very possible. He hasn't been doing it every game, so he hasn't been predictable. This is a decent map for it. It's a very long map, which means it's a lot harder for counterattacks to punish this kind of Stargate play. I certainly wouldn't be surprised at all if he does decide to go for a Stargate here. I think that'd be a good move.
Yeah, there's that area, the dead space in the middle that allows the air units to be more advantageous compared to other maps.
While it's weaker than it used to be, a very decisive Stargate is still very much a good thing in this matchup. And I think he's going to go for it because he is only got 14 minerals. 14 on minerals now? I know he's going back up to 16. So, I'm not sure. I know that I believe Mandolino is going to go for his usual expansion into Robo based on the initial gas timings, but I'm drawing a lot from very little in these guesses.
Oh, but Mandolino has two probes out in the map, one heading to the main base and one heading into the bottom.
Ooh, what is this?
Something cheeky.
I spy with my caster eye something beginning with P. Oh, you're right, there's no reason for probe to be out here except for a proxy.
He's certainly not sightseeing out there.
Now the question is, will Swagger notice the lack of a third pylon? It's not easy to spot looking for something that isn't there, which is such a small thing, but Is Swagger good enough to have seen it? And what will Mandalino be proxying? That is the question. Swagger goes for Twilight Council, so I don't think he knows. The Twilight Council is probably the worst thing you can do against a proxy, because it takes so long for it to actually pay off with an actual unit.
Yeah.
So I think Swagger, does not know what's going on. Sending a couple of adepts across the map, you're going to see 4 Stalkers, so it's going to be a proxy robo, so he's going to make an Immortal or 2 and try and just break down the front door with brute force. And will Swagger find out in time, because his tournament life is on the line. He is behind on the builds. This is very bad for Swagger. Oh, and will these Stalkers take out these adepts in time? Not quite, but he does stop it anyway. Mandalino doing very well here. Dark Shrine for Swagger.
Ooh.
If he gets that done in time, that could be huge.
I mean,
How long does the Dark Shrine take to finish? I think it's like 6 minutes. It's so slow.
well, the Warp Prism is being
just
made.
a Warp Prism. So he's not going for Immortals, which is going to speed up his attack tremendously. I think that means that Swagger's in a lot of trouble. Oh, but the Dark Shrine is half done. He's invested so much in this. Will it be enough? Can he hold? He sees a shield battery. He knows something's coming. He just doesn't know exactly what it is. The Dark Shrine is nearly done. It will be done in time. And Mandalino will need to then make an observer. Oh, he's making an observer. He's making one right now.
Oh, that's such good news for Mandalino. But there is a proxy pylon across the map. He might need to recall his observer there later once Swagger
He's
warps
walled
in.
himself off into the main, but those DTs will break it down. But there's so many Stalkers here. Oh man, there's a shield battery, there's a few Stalkers for Swagger, but that's just so many units. Force field does go down. Pylon does take out the cybernetics core. Not that that really matters a ton because it's not doing anything, but there's so many Stalkers here, and the DTs won't help, and they're coming forward. But in the meantime, the DTs are going to break into the pylon. The DTs are going to do tremendous damage. They're going to break out the entire economy of Mandalino. But there's suddenly no more units left. The Swagger, I think we're going to see a base trade here. As both sides losing basically their entire economies. Mandalino's not mining, and soon Swagger won't be either. He's taking out the Warp Prism though. But it just doesn't matter, there's just so many units for Mandalino. Swagger trying to retreat with his probes, but they're being followed by the Stalkers.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's nowhere for the Stalkers, there's nowhere for the units to run, nowhere for them to hide. I think Swagger is going to I think Mandalino is going to take this, because he's got an observer and he has so many Stalkers, there's just no way. He's reliant entirely on these DTs, but there are he's an observer and there's about to be 2. There's already 2, there's about to be 3 observers for Mandalino, which means there's just no way these DTs can do anything. All the buildings for Swagger are going down one by one, and I'd say Mandalino is going to be taking this up. There's 2 Archons for Swagger, that's the tech of choice, but these Stalkers should be able to just take out these Archons one by one. Here comes the final fight. And the Stalkers just split themselves up. They're going to take out these Archons, and that's going to be it. Mandalino will take the series and the championship 4-2. And that is the end of Alpha X Contenders Cup.
What a way to end it. We did not see DTs throughout the whole series, and Mandalino's Swagger pulling out the DT, but wasn't able, as Mandalino didn't make the observer. And there we have it. Mandalino is your Alpha X Contenders Cup champion.
And while nothing is quite set in stone, we do have another bit of an additional prize for Mandalino.
Ooh.
One of the things that Sushi and I have been cooking up to potentially run in the near future is the Alpha X Champions Cup, which would be a similar tournament to this, but not restricted to 5600 MMR. Oh no, every Alpha X member is open to sign up, and the top 16 by MMR will be picked to participate in the Champions Cup. But Mandolino himself is now a champion of Contenders Cup. So we would be seeding him into one of the spots to compete with Alpha X's best.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Guys, hope you guys enjoyed the games. Certainly we did. We had a lot of back and forth games. Although I feel like we could have maybe gotten the 7th game. I mean, it was still a great series all in all.
It certainly was. Both sides definitely playing their hardest, playing extremely well. Some bit of nerves at first, but they truly played some stellar games later on.
Yeah, for sure. All
I was
right.
really pleased with how the finals turned out, even if it was a bit of a rocky road to get here sometimes.
There was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of changes and updates throughout the whole tournament.
But in the end, Mandolino deserves it. He played extremely well, and while we had some attendance issue plagues in some parts of Contenders, Mandolino was always here on time and happy to play. Even willing to play at a later time, despite being European, playing quite a late hour for him to try and make this work.
Oh yeah,
Mandolino truly deserves the title
definitely
of Contenders Cup champion.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have as much attendance problem and issues in the Champions Cup. But yeah, I think that pretty much does it. I mean, there's been a few months, but we have finally arrived to the end of our Alpha X Contenders Cup. Mandolino will go home with $75, and Swagheart will be going home with how much was it?
$37.50.
$37.50. Nice.
Thank you everyone for tuning in along the way, especially those of you who followed into the end, followed from the beginning. Next week we do have our MVP Cup, bit of a prelude to potentially the Champions Cup to come. It will be a single-day tournament, a double elimination tournament, open to all Alpha X members. So we will expect to see some of our semi-pro team, the Alpha X Dragons, competing there with players like Estrella, Bio Ice, Star Killer, Uzi Cody, all a ton of great names competing for your amusement and for, I believe, $100 prize pool. That will be next week at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do tune in. In the meantime, let me see if we've got anything else for you guys later today. That's right, if your appetite has not been whetted for StarCraft yet after such a relatively short series, then do tune in to our second channel, which I believe we're going to be raiding just after this, to see some ATL America's Amateur, which will be 4850 MMR or below, people playing in a Pro League style, and the Validity Team League for Platinums and Diamonds. Some of our Alpha Black Academy players will be playing against Team Gosu Build later on this stream in about an hour. So we've still got plenty more StarCraft for you today. So do feel free to stick around if you're interested.
Yeah, and feel free to also follow our channel if you want to see when we go live. And yeah, that pretty much does it, guys. Do you have any last words before we conclude this, Al?
Thank you everyone who helped me make this dream a reality. It started with just an offhand comment from Jeterix, I believe, saying I wish we had more events like this. I whipped something up, I proposed it, I didn't really know if it would actually happen, but then everyone got behind me, suddenly made some great graphics for this. I believe you can see our Contenders Cup graphic in the overlay on stream.
Yep.
Sushi contributed money to the prize pool. Dustin Baxter contributed money to the prize pool as well. We had a bunch of players sign up. We got the 16. I wasn't sure if we were going to. I was prepared for anything from 8 to 16 players. But we did get 16 sign-ups easily. Thank you, everyone, for helping make this vision a reality.
Yeah, thank you, Sal, for hosting this tournament. I think it was a pretty great success. I mean, we had like at certain points over 100 viewers for our Twitch channel, which I think that's a record. So that was pretty awesome, and hopefully more will tune in and continue to tune in for the Alpha X Champions Cup whenever that happens. And yeah, that does it, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time. This is your friendly neighborhood casting duel signing out.